Good morning. Lots has been said about Donald Trump's immigration plan, and it is the one campaign promise he made that he's following through with very fast, quickly. And the funny thing is that the people who supported Trump, oh yeah, got to get rid of these illegal immigrants, are now losing their minds. And these people are not illegal immigrants. They are the people who employ the illegal immigrants, who depend on them for cheap labor, for labor that, for employees that cannot complain. Like that Podzer guy said, I wish I could replace all my employees with robots because they don't ask for more money, they don't take sick leave, they don't want vacation time, they don't want benefits. That's what illegal immigrants provide to very wealthy people in America. So we're going to start this discussion by, first of all, illegal immigrants and refugees are two very different things. Okay? First of all, a refugee is not sneaking into our country in the dead of night and raping our country of all our wonderful assets. They are invited in because they are running for their lives. They are in fear of being killed in their home country. That's not true with the illegal immigrants as we know them. And I don't want to point out any one or two countries because we all know it's a lot of Mexicans, but it's also people from Central American countries. So it's not just Mexicans. So put your thumbs away. I'm not dissing Mexicans here. But what I am saying is we need to think, when we think about illegal immigrants, and they are committing a crime by breathing our air, is who is really to blame for this epidemic of illegal immigrants living in our country today in the United States. And we need to ask, why do they come? Because you don't see Americans sneaking into Mexico or sneaking into Central America in the dead of night because it's just so great there, because they can work there and they can give their kids free education there and get free health care there. We don't do that. The reason they come to America, and a viewer, Shari, made this very clear in one of her comments on another post, is because we have the good shit, the free shit. Once they get here, their kids go to school for free, and oh, by the way, there's teachers in the school that actually speak their language, ESL teachers, English as a second language teacher, that the kind American taxpayer provides. So their kids get a free education. They, at some point, I don't know why or how, but they get food stamps, they can get welfare, and they can just go to the hospital, to the ER, whenever they're sick, without a social security card, without an insurance card, without a birth certificate, and without a residence, an actual address, and get free health care. Because we're so generous in America, we won't turn them away. And they get jobs. They are offered jobs, making more money than they would make in Mexico without those pesky taxes. Just here's a wad of cash at the end of the week. Have a good time. They don't need a bank. They hear us talking about April 15th. What the hell is April 15th? We don't know nothing about Abril 15, whatever. No, doesn't mean anything to us. We just have a big wad of cash under our bed in our government paid for house in this wonderful country. We talk about the drug dealers. If Americans didn't buy cocaine and didn't buy heroin and didn't buy methamphetamine, guess what? The drug dealers wouldn't come because they would have no customers. Think what I just said. If somebody offered you and your family right now, if they told you there was a place where you could sneak into and get all the things I just mentioned, no taxes, a job, free health care, free food, free education for your children, I'd be on the next plane, wouldn't you? So we have to ask ourselves, who is to blame? Because if all this free, great stuff went away, they would not come because there would be no benefit to coming. So let's talk about the American thing here about the stigma of certain jobs that these illegal immigrants will do. And Morning Joe did a very important show yesterday and mentioned that when Hurricane Hugo hit Florida, the good hands people, the insurance people, they weren't anywhere to be found. The FEMA people at the government, they were, if your roof was blowing off, if your roof was leaking after Hugo, 4 months, 5 months to get your roof fixed. Guess who would fix your roof? That very day, the minute the winds diminished. Illegal immigrants. They lined up, and anybody who needed a roof for a couple $100 cash, they would climb up on that roof with no workman's comp, no insurance. They would risk their lives and fix your roof for, maybe $400. A lot quicker than your own government would when your home was damaged, than your homeowner's insurance would that you paid premiums for. These illegal immigrants repaired people's roofs so that they could return to their homes and live safely. You didn't see a lot of American citizens like if my husband had said, I'm going to go help the neighbor repair the roof, I'm going to go, the hell you are. You don't have insurance for that. You don't have workman's comp. You're not a roofer. You can't do that. Let's let the illegal people do it. They're willing. Let them do it. We don't need the money that bad. This is the point. And rich American business owners and farmers are the ones that are really, really upset right now about this illegal immigration thing, because these farmers are like, well, oh my God, who's going to pick our lettuce? I mean, I have 2 sons, but they're not going to go out and pick lettuce. I mean, they're American pussy boys. They don't pick lettuce. They're too busy on their computers and tweeting and playing Farmville on Facebook. They don't want to go out and actually pick lettuce for real. How many of you right now are telling your young children, when you grow up, I really hope you become a lettuce picker? How many people are telling your young children today, when you grow up, I want you to be a dishwasher in a restaurant? I bet there's a lot of you that are saying, no, not really. Anybody telling your young women, your young teenage girls, when you grow up, forget about college, just go be a maid or a nanny in some rich person's house? Don't think so. But an illegal immigrant will certainly take that job. And the employer will love that, because here's 3 Spanish words that every employer who hires illegals knows. Inmigración, teléfono rápido. Basically meaning speed dial number 1 is immigration. If you complain about your wages, if you dare to take a day off, if you make any trouble, inmigración. If you are my maid and you get pregnant and you dare to ask me for time off for your baby, like maternity leave, rápido, inmigración. You and your newborn are going to be back in Guadalajara by the end of the day. They can't complain. They are exactly what this Podzer guy says is the perfect employee. So here's what Americans who are upset about illegal immigrants coming here and raping our country, which they are. They absolutely do. They come here for the free shit. Let's talk to our government, not about building walls, which is going to cost us a lot more money and make very little difference and piss off Mexico. He's like, I'm not paying for no fucking wall. Yeah, okay. The wall isn't going to help. What we need to do is find businesses in our own communities. And if we find out that they are employing illegal immigrants, stop going to the business. Stop using their products. Stop giving them your money. And tell them why. We see that the guy who's just came out to clear the table doesn't speak a lot of English. Is he legal? Can we see his documentation? You have a right to do that because your money is being spent in that restaurant. Now, I don't know how any of us will live without lettuce if no one's there to pick it. I like me a good salad, but you know what? The farmers are going to have to hire someone and pay them a living wage and give them benefits to pick their lettuce. Cost of lettuce is probably going to go up. But you might not have to wait in line at the ER behind a bunch of people who don't speak English who are there because they have a headache or their kid has a fever. And you might see your healthcare costs go down because you're going to get rid of people who skip their bill, who jump off on the bill because nobody can find them. You might not have to wait at the ER while someone finds a translator for the person who came in before you whose child has a fever while you have cut your arm and you're bleeding out all over the floor. Your classrooms in your public schools will be smaller. You might not have to pay that ESL teacher anymore. But I promise you that if employers have to pay real living wages to dishwashers and maids and cleaning people and people that do the jobs American people absolutely think are beneath them, the cost of everything that we enjoy, going out for a meal, is going to go up. Buying a head of lettuce at the grocery store is going to go up. And look, I'm sorry, I don't believe anybody should be here who doesn't want to, first of all, be an American and pay taxes. That's my big deal. Everybody should pay taxes. And it bugs the crap out of me. But what this show is about is reminding you why we have this epidemic of illegal immigrants in our country, including the criminals. And it's because we offer them a welcome mat. We throw out the red carpet. Free health care, free education for your children, housing, food, welfare check, or paycheck under the table. You put the cash in your pocket and under your bed. It's a sweet deal. And until we are strong enough and grow a freaking backbone in this country, and we say to the person who comes into the ER, I'm sorry you're sick, but unless you can pay me right now up front for your treatment, I can't treat you. You don't have any identification that I can find you to bill you. And if you can't pay, you can't be here. I won't treat you. Are we willing to do that? I'm all for it. I'm for it with American citizens. If you can't pay your medical bill, you don't get treatment. You get to go home and die or get sick or be sicker or whatever. I can't go out and buy and get anything without paying for it. Except if you go to an ER and you say, oh, I don't have insurance, I don't have any money. Okay, well, we'll treat you anyway. We'll figure it out later. Medical care, I'm sorry, should not be free for anybody. If you get sick, you need to get treated, you need to pay. And if everybody paid, the costs would come down. Because right now, the people who do pay are paying not only our bill, but the bills of all those who do not pay. And it's a real problem. Our American English-speaking school children are getting a lesser education because they have students in their classes that are very far behind because they don't speak the language. And they are left withering and bored because we have to let the other kids catch up. Because first they have to learn how to speak English before they can learn to read the blackboard or speak up in class or answer a question. So all of these things, that's what illegal immigration is doing to our country. But then we also have to look at these rich employers who don't like dealing with those pesky payroll taxes or Social Security or benefit programs or 401ks, who love the illegal immigrants and who want them here, who need them here. Then you have to ask yourself, do you want to pay $4 for a head of lettuce because an American is now being paid $15 an hour to pick it? You want to pay an extra $10 for your entree at a restaurant that is already overpriced because the dishwasher is now making $15 an hour and has benefits because he's an American citizen? I would love to hear the comments on this show because this show I have basically stated some theories and my own opinion. I believe, like my ancestors, if you want to come to America or go to any country, you do it legally. And you do it with the goal of becoming part of that country. If you are moving to a country, you assimilate. You learn the language. You get a tax. You let them know you're there. and you go through the process of becoming part of that country, including paying taxes. And that is what our ancestors did, mine did, when they came from Greece. And I'm sure all of you, we are a nation of immigrants. If you have family members in your past that came here, they did it the same way. They came through Ellis Island. They were documented. They were followed. They needed a sponsor to be here, someone to meet them at Ellis Island that would vouch for them and even provide a job for them. And that's the way it should be done. It shouldn't be easy to become an American citizen, because we have a lot of American citizens who are not doing their part, who are not contributing to America. And they know who, you all know who I'm talking about. A lot of American citizens don't do their part. So we can't afford to keep allowing people to come in from other countries who also do not want to do their part and become a true American citizen, which includes paying taxes and being part of a community and part of America. Not hiding. Not hiding. And also not being taken advantage of by wealthy business owners and employers who will threaten you every day with inmigración. Telefono rápido. Número uno está el teléfono. Speed dial. If you dare to make a mistake or complain or get hurt or have a baby while you're working for them. And again, one last thing I want to remind everybody is when you sit around the kitchen table tonight and your kids are thinking about SATs in college, maybe you should just throw out there, hey, have you ever thought about being a maid or a nanny or a lettuce picker or dishwasher? Because, yeah, it would be great to say goodbye to the illegal immigrants and to stop this problem. But somebody's going to have to take care of the babies and clean the rich people's houses and just do the dishes and pick the lettuce. Something to think about, isn't it? Hey, great show. I hope I get a lot of comments here. This really was a show where I put out theories, and I want to hear what you say, what you have to say about it. So enjoy the show, and I'll see you next time. Stay informed, stay well, be good to each other. Political Paula, out.